world and all my friends and subscribers out there. So today is not going to be the second part of my metallics video. It's going to be a start of a different series just because I didn't have time to do one of those videos this week because I picked up some extra shifts at work. So this series is going to be all about testing acrylic paints, seeing what their properties are like, what the different qualities look like, all that kind of stuff. So it'll give you a good idea about how to do this for yourself, and also if you're looking for a certain kind of paint, you can watch my videos and see what kind of paints I suggest and which ones I think are better than others and things like that. Okay, so today I'm going to be doing the small tubes of the cheap acrylic Reeves paints, since that's what I've been using recently. And what I've done is chosen 4 colours that I think that are good to test out. So white, which is the most opaque, titanium white, sorry, which is the most opaque colour usually. Mars black, it's always good to know how good your blacks are. Red because it's always a trouble colour, and then yellow because it's very transparent. So what I did first was I used 2 good quality Reeves Acrylics paints, black and white, or titanium white and Mars black rather, to mix up and put some different colours on my page just to show what the transparency is like. Now we'll zoom in at the end and show you a closer look because it's a bit, I don't know if you'd be able to see quite exactly what I'm talking about. But I've got on this side, I've just used white paper because that's important. I've done just straight black for the first line, and then I've mixed up some greys that kind of graduate down. So this will give a good idea of which paints are, what they look like over black, and then whether they get any better as they go towards lighter colours. Okay, so I'll just put some of these out on my palette. So I'll talk about Reeves for a second. These colours, these paints are obviously the cheapest ones you can get, and I think that I paid maybe $20 for 24, or maybe I bought 36, I can't remember. You'd have to look back at my video for my supplies for the series, and that'll tell you exactly how many and what I paid, I think. Anyway, so what I found with Reeves cheaper acrylics is that they work just fine. Okay, they're not the best quality, but they do, they work fine, like, yeah. Alright, so what I'm going to do is, I'm going to move my colours over to the side, just to make it a bit easier for me. And I'm going to start with white, because that's the most opaque colour, and I'm going to use it straight out of the tube, just because that's the best way to test these things. And if you wanted to do a more in-depth look, you could water it down to a certain extent. Okay, so I'm going to start just here, and I don't want it to be too thin because of course we want to have the most objective look at it, and I'll go straight out onto the white as well. Okay, so straight away I can see that there is not as opaque. I mean, white isn't going to cover everything, but you know, you want it to be a strong colour. I mean, it's supposed to be the most opaque colour, so you want it to be a strong colour. And I think that this one's doing quite well. So we'll see what happens once it's dry. So now I'm going to move on to my black. And the colour underneath, the Reeves Artist quality that I've used for the stripes down the page, that's actually a glossy acrylic, whereas these cheaper colors, because of the pigment granules in them, they tend to be a little bit more matte, but we'll see what happens when they dry. So now I'm going to start with a lot of people have a problem with red coverage, so we'll do that next. Okay, so as you can see, it's quite a contrast compared to the others. And then yellow, which is the most transparent, I feel. And yellow is a tricky colour, and you kind of have to work with it in a different way than you would with any other colour. Okay. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to quickly dry these colours using my hairdryer, and I'll mute the video for that so you don't have to listen to it. So I'll zoom you in so you can have a look at what we've got here. So as you can see with the light, it actually did turn out a little bit shiny, which is interesting, and it's only done that on the black, which is really interesting because as you can see the other colours are quite matte. There's no shine to them at all. And like I said, you can see, if you can see, that the Reeves Artist Acrylic I used is shiny. So as you can see, the white is done pretty well, in my opinion. I actually didn't expect it to be that good. The black, of course, is good. The colour of the black is good. Now, I've bought some black acrylic paints that when you've used them out of the tube, and this is in one of my previous videos, you can actually see that it's grey. It's not actually black. It doesn't look black, and yeah, that's really important. If you buy black, you want it to be black because you're using it for underpainting and things like that. So the red here, as you can see, is just a typical, in my opinion, a red quality. It's a little bit less opaque. Even on the white, it's not done the greatest job just because of the quality of the paint. And the yellow as well is not as bright as I would have expected it on the white, because the light that's bouncing back from the white paper is going through that yellow and bringing it out. But because of the opaqueness of it and the quality of the paint, it's not really that bright, in my opinion. It could be brighter. So there's Reeves acrylic paints for you, the cheap ones. And yeah, so what I'll do is every time I do a different series, I'll continue down so we can see kind of the difference between them. And of course, if you wanted to do this at home, you don't have to use paint to make these marks. You could use markers, you could use felt tips, you can use whatever you want, as long as the black is as dark as you can make it, and you have kind of a variance of shades of grey down towards the lighter side, and then the whiter your paper. Of course, your paper needs to be quite white, just because of how we're testing the paints out. So yeah, I really hope that you enjoyed that, and it's going to help you test out your paints, and also follow along with me if you'd like to see what different kind of paints I'm testing and which ones I think are really good and which ones are worth buying, and maybe that there might be some really cost-effective type paints that you might be interested in. So if you like this video, let me know by clicking the like button, and thanks so much for watching, and please subscribe, and if you know anybody who might think this is interesting or informative, please share my video. Okay, thanks so much for watching. I'll see you later. Bye! The particles, the metallic particles, are really, really fine, and it just looks fantastic once it's finished.